Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us. I'm Denise Segal, co-founder of Living Healthy List. And I have to say co-founder because when I was saying founder, my husband, the other co-founder, got a little bent out of shape. So co-founder it is. So thank you guys for being with me today. The purpose of these calls really is for us to connect, to understand what's going on kind of in the Living Healthy List headquarters, i.e. my office behind us right now, because there's a lot of stuff happening in the background. You know, you guys see you gals see the front end of the website and what is happening there, that part that you can see. And it looks pretty. We're working on some things that will enhance the website and really to include the more education, that list part of Living Healthy List. And later on, I will pop up the life coaching page that I'm working on. So you can see what it is kind of when I talk about the list. I don't necessarily have a database yet, working on that, Living Healthy List 2.0 or 2.5 will have more of our own database. But right now, essentially what I'm doing is we're kind of doing the Google search for people, because it is really difficult, and we know this, and this is the premise of Living Healthy List. It's hard to find reliable information on the internet. It's almost impossible to find reliable information when it comes to health and wellness on the internet. There's just so much noise. So where the goal of the list pages is to give people good information so they can make educated decisions on their own. And literally, I'm doing the Google searches for people. One of the searches, this was great. So this is the life coaching page. One of the searches, I was searching down in Des Moines, Iowa, because I know Sherry Clark is down there, and thought, well, Sherry's going to pop up. Apparently the high priestess who's down there pops up before she did. And I was kind of shocked, so I did a little research. But for people who are new to the concept of life coaching, that could be something that would frighten them away. And so I want to make sure that we're giving people good information and giving them the right things to search for. So I'll show that to you in a few minutes. But I wanted to just introduce again, real quickly, Stacy Hudson, our virtual assistant. She's virtual over there. And I know Stacy sent an email to everybody this week regarding the login for Living Healthy List. And so if you have questions, Stacy, if you'd like to take it away for a few minutes, please do.
Yeah, each of you should have gotten an email with the login link, your new username, and then what your password is. If you haven't gotten that in your inbox, you should check your spam, because it may have seen that as spam. But once you have that, you just click the website link and go log in, and there's a form for you to put the title, your text. You can add pictures, you can insert a video, and press submit, and it will go to a pending blog post, and it'll show up as your blog post with your name. And I'm working on, at the bottom, an author box, so you'll have a picture and your profile down there and your website.
So this essentially is replacing the Jot form, because those can get really confusing. They're great for some things, but the more we were using them, I think the more they were getting confusing.
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Stacy, I received your email. I clicked on the link and logged in, and it took me to WordPress. Like, it wasn't a form like you just described. It was the actual back end, which I'm familiar with WordPress. No problem. I went ahead and created my article, and I don't know if it was a test or an extra or bonus, but it's July content.
Okay.
So is that what I was supposed to be seeing?
Yeah, when you click the link, it'll have a login form. You have to be logged in order to post. So once you log into that form, if you save it, you'll never have to do that again. It'll just bring you back to the to the form, and then it'll go to the pending in the blog post on the website.
Okay, so it is pending. Of course, I didn't push, hit publish. But do you receive some sort of notification that it's sitting there, or you're monitoring that to see what's?
Yes, we're
been loaded?
monitoring. Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
And
so
then Denise looks at it also and makes sure. Yeah.
So you guys saw my post. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, it was really fun. It was really exciting. I was like, "Ooh, it worked!"
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that's what I was supposed to do. And then the email that Denise sends out on the 10th of the month as a reminder to submit content by the 20th of the month, that is for the following month. Is that right?
It
So
is.
you just want us to enter our content by the 20th, and then you guys will publish it for the following month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And in the meantime, if something else, if you have a blog post that you've written and you're like, you know what, I want to share this, you can share it on Living Healthy List anytime during the month. You don't have to just send one. The goal is at least one. But if there's other things that you want to share, and that's why this form makes it a lot easier. You could just pop in there, type it in, and it'll be pending. But I'm in there every day. I'm in the back office every day, looking at what we're doing, what posts I have. So I see those.
Perfect. That's what this article was, basically a bonus. So I haven't gotten back on the site to see if it's live, but
Okay.
yeah, you guys should.
And if you want to email either of us to just say like, hey, there's an extra post, or hey, I submitted one for September, if you're doing ahead of yourself,
Okay, that makes sense.
or put it in the note in the blog section. You can just put like, this is for September, because we see all the text before we hit publish. So you can label it per month if you want to just get ahead of the game.
Okay. And then last question. I have an event coming up in August.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 3-week course starting August 15th. So I know you guys are promoting those sorts of activities. How is the best way to submit that post or announcement?
Right now, probably to email, the support email. I'm working on that's another thing coming, a better way to submit the events as well.
Okay.
So, but probably just support at livinghealthylist.com.
Yeah, because both of us see those.
Perfect. Okay. Coming your way. Thank you.
Cool.
Appreciate the clarification.
Yeah. And what I'm doing, just so you guys have, and I'm a minute ahead, I'm a minute behind schedule. What my goal is, I was talking to, hi, Stacy, Stacy Witten. I was talking to Stacy the other day, and we're actually going to work on our Living Healthy List business page on LinkedIn. And so we'll be adding more information there. The cool thing is that I have my personal page, we have the business page, so we have 2 outlets there. And then, of course, the Facebook page and the experts page where we can, share all of that information. And I would just encourage everybody, make sure you do pop into, the Facebook pages. It doesn't have to be a lot, but once or twice a week would be great. Okay, awesome. Any other questions? Stacy Witten, just question. Did you get your login for the back office of Living Healthy List?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't used it yet, but
That's okay. Okay, cool. So since I've been chatting, let's get back on track and go through and introduce ourselves to everybody. I think most of us are on pretty regularly, but let's just go through for those of us who will be watching afterwards. Yes, Stacy.
If there's no more questions, then I'm going to hop off and let y'all chat, and I'm going to do some other work. Any
Okay.
more questions? All right. Y'all have a good day. No problem.
Thank you.
Stacy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Stacy.
And if it does turn out that you guys do have questions, you can either email Stacy at the email she sent or just send a message on support. Again, both of us are monitoring that email. So anything that you send, one of us will be able to answer. If it's technical, it'll probably be Stacy. So, Okay, so you guys all know who I am. I'm Denise Siegel. I am the co-founder of Living Healthy List. Lisa, if you would start us off.
Sure. My name's Lisa Medley. I live in Rhode Island, and happy to be here. It's so inspiring to be just part of the ground floor. I've been an innovator all my life, and for a while I resisted it, and now I've just made friends with it. But that's just that's just part of on that like marketing bell curve. Like that's just where I land in that innovation place. So one of the things I innovate in my life, regarding living healthy, is really supporting raising body consciousness, not just body image, not just body awareness. It goes deeper than that, of just really connecting people to the value of what their body offers them, more than just like something that gets them around, but their intuition and their wisdom and the intelligence and the spiritual vessel of which it is. And so how I do that is cultivating positive relationships. So using like relationship skills to connect that conversation and really empower, certainly women is who I focus with, empower women to trust their gut, literally, and feel empowered to take back their power to thrive.
Awesome. And you're always so positive. I love it. I love this group. Everybody it just lights my fire. Stacey or Michelle?
Happy to. I'm unmuted here. I'm Michelle Boss, AKA the Money Boss. Fun play on my last name. And I provide successful women the guidance and support to create thriving long-term financial security. As a financial coach and educator, I work with women one-on-one as well as in group classes. And, this is stuff that we're not taught in school. So a lot of times, I attract spiritual women or women who would otherwise be turned off by your more traditional or institutional financial planner. Not to say there's not a role for those types of financial professionals, but I'm really hand-holding people through their money struggles or mindset and creating a plan, to really create that long-term thriving financial security. So, my typical or ideal client would be saying something like, I just don't get this money thing, or I make great money, I have no idea where it goes. Things like that, or they're afraid of their finances, if they're afraid of their numbers and looking at their numbers, either personally or in their business, or if it's all mixed mashed up. Those are really women who I can make a big difference for. And I'm here in the San Francisco Bay Area. So if anyone is out this way, always feel free to get in touch. I'd love to host you around the wine country here.
We haven't thought about that for the next phase of Living Healthy List. So that's a TBD.
Yes.
Stacey, if you would.
Okay, I'm Stacey Witten. I am in the burbs of Dallas, Texas, out in Plano, if you know where that is. And I help professionals discover their strengths and their gifts, and then leverage and market those strengths and gifts. So I do a lot of career and leadership coaching. I'm also a LinkedIn expert, so I help a lot of professionals market those strengths and be able to utilize and optimize LinkedIn. I hear somebody's dog.
Sorry, I'll mute myself. But I have a question for you, Stacey. Do you ever do workshops or classes on LinkedIn, webinars or that sort of thing?
I'm preparing to do a webinar that will go into a course for LinkedIn.
Cool. I'll look for that.
Great.
Awesome. Okay. Well, so Lori is going to tell us a little bit more about herself. She's going to give us a little presentation, and each one of these events, Zoom connections, we'll have one or two people to do that, so we get to know each other a little better and really understand. We have an incredible group of experts here. We're all passionate about what we do, And I think one of the best things we have is this great referral base. But in order to be able to refer better to one another, we need to know each other a little bit better. So each month we'll do a one or two people, experts, will do a 10-minute kind of introduction. So Lori, without further ado.
Thank you. Let me get set up real quick. Okay. So I'm unmuted. I have been a spiritual seeker for over 25 years, but in the past 3, my sensual and feminine confidence coaching and spirituality have kind of collided in a way that's made me really be thinking about how to retool my brand and my niche. So I've been experimenting with a more overt combination of love and sensuality with spirituality. It's kind of a soul sexy mashup, I like to call it. And it's been a journey. It's not like wearing a thong and a halo at the same time. It's uncomfortable at first, get used to it. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my company, more about me, and to demonstrate the soul sexy mashup. I'm going to give you a really brief excerpt of one of my workshops, Love and the Delicious Lies We Tell Ourselves. And that way I thought you'd be able to get the impact of how I put these things together, or hopefully that's my impact. So I am a certified spiritual life coach. I'm ACC accredited by the ACF, hoping in the next month or 2 to have my PCC accreditation. I am a speaker, an angel scribe, and a love connoisseur. So I'm also an author. I've written 8 books, including The Power Wow of A Guide to Unleashing the Confident, Sexy You. But the 2 that I really want to explain to you going forward is the Angel Scribe and the Love Connoisseur. So about 3 years ago, I began receiving in meditation information or clarification from the angels about topics I was writing about. Stuff like the divine definition of what sex is, what sexual energy is, what marriage is supposed to be, what fidelity is and it isn't. And then as I continued, the messages turned into more personal messages, and I was prompted to sit down and write these messages, describe them. And they talked more about my mission, my purpose, what I was supposed to do with all this information and my experience. And then that kind of morphed into actual channeled messages that were personal and directed to my clients. So my clients now with every session get a message of love and support from the angels. They're really very cool. They are not predictive like a psychic would be, but they are just guidance and things to reflect on. They ask questions, but they're always very pointed to exactly what we're talking about. So all this information I've come to use in my writing, in my speaking, and in my coaching. Now, in terms of a love connoisseur, that is just my fancy title for myself to tell you that I have been always curious and enamored with and an enthusiastic explorer with love in all of its different forms. As a kid, I didn't watch cartoons except for Pepe Le Pew, and I loved the only cartoons, comics I loved were those Love Is comics. So I've always been enamored by it, and that curiosity has taught me or led me to not only explore it and be fearless about love, but also to study it. And that studying has turned into teaching and also coaching for almost a decade now of clients, teaching them about love, the different forms of it, helping them understand it, but particularly self-love and what it's brought into their lives and how to bring it into lives in a more true and joyful way. So this expertise in love and feminine confidence and relationships have led me to be interviewed on a variety of media platforms, including a past contributor to the Huffington Post on those subjects. And I'm not surprised, I mean, the books and everything, but it's more that feminine confidence and love and relationships are always hot topics because the world is really good about telling women and teaching us how to be good at what we do, but nobody really teaches us how to be good at who we are. And especially as women, as mates, and as lovers. And kind of thank God for that, or I wouldn't have a coaching niche. So my specialties fall under two umbrellas now. My Soul Innovations Coaching Group, which I really do work with a lot of spiritual seekers who are wanting to explore their spirituality beyond the basic Band-Aid applications they've been using. You know, I'm all stressed out, let me meditate, that kind of thing. But really are looking to understand their spirituality and accelerate their growth, their soul evolution and growth. And some people who are looking to use the principles that they have in a more real and powerful way in their whole life. I also work with a lot of creatives, mainly actors and writers, looking to get over creative blocks, looking for work-life balance, you know, or just the confidence to go out and say, I'm an actor, I'm a writer, and do that damn thing. I do also work with writers themselves who are working on books, whether fiction or nonfiction, and act as more of an editorial guide and coach. And lately, the last year, I've had a real uptick in the millennial market. So I really feel that Spirit is guiding me into that market. I've been doing a lot of workshops for millennials, and that's led them to come back to ask for coaching. They are looking for their purpose, for direction, a lot of self-exploration around their sexuality, and a lot of fear around love and relationships and their inability to find and go beyond the hookup. I'm also a lot of parents, some who have been my clients are now hiring me to coach their millennial kids around some of the issues that they're finding that the adult life that they expected isn't quite working out the way they thought it would. So on the soul sexy side, it's the feminine confidence that I've been doing, the body image, the sexual confidence. My clients range from everything from past abuse victims to new moms to 50-somethings and above, trying to get their sexy back, trying to ditch their good girls, and really come out with that sexual confidence. So I also, and love and relationships is a huge arena of who I coach and what I coach around. Under Soul Sexy, I'm using it also to brand 2 6-month long-term packages, Successful Single, Ready for Love. And those are professional women who their lives are kicking off in all other areas except love. And we really look at everything from their limiting thinking, their limiting thoughts, to their past relationship histories, to finding their magnetic root energy that is keeping them attracting the same kind of person over and over again, to giving them next level mindsets and tools like using the law of attraction and creating and manifesting to attract the love they want. I also have the Power of Wow, which is a 6-month course in helping women find their own brand of sexy based on who they are as they are. So those are always fun and pretty popular. So what is the Soul Sexy Transformation? It's helping women find and fall in love with the best of themselves, introducing next level mindsets and spiritual tools that empower women to awaken, understand, and use their feminine energy. And that's that joyful, loving, compassionate, kind energy that often gets tossed aside in the struggle. And so to come back to that, to achieve the things that you want in life, whether it's a loving relationship, a dream career, or great sex, all using the spiritual tenets of love, joy, and abundance. So with that as our background, I'm going to give you a little bit of a taste of love and the delicious lies we all talk about, we all tell ourselves. So love is the one thing that we crave, and we all crave it. We understand it the least, and we fear it the most. It's an abstract concept that few of us explore beyond the impact it has on our lives, and that exploration is usually shallow at best. So my experience has shown that one's view of love can often be boiled down to a 4-letter word. For some, love is pain, it's fake, it's rare. For others, it's pure, it's epic, it's true. And the truth is that whether we view love as negative or positive largely depends on our experience with it. Now, the one 4-letter word we most associate with love, the one that runs through everyone's love experience, whether negative or positive, is, any guesses? Okay.
Fear. Fear.
The fear of being hurt, the fear of not being chosen, the fear of not being worthy, or the fear of losing the magic, losing all that we have. If it goes away, will I ever get it back? So we all fear love in some form or fashion. But the truth about love and fear is that it's not love that you fear. It's not being loved that scares the bejeebies out of you. And this is an important distinction because there's nothing to fear from love. Love doesn't work that way. Love cannot hurt you. Love is your essence. Your reason for being on this earth is to love. So understand, again, it's not love that you fear, it's the fear of not being loved. So the four-letter word we least associate with love. Any guesses?
Easy.
Excuse me?
Easy.
Easy.
Oh, yeah.
We search and we wish and we hope for love, but love of self is the one version of it that we give little attention or credence to above the, duh, of course I love myself. But it's the lack of self-love that is the root cause of all the fear of the very love that you desire. So this is how the lack of self-love manifests. It's your inability to see your unique beauty or speak your own truth. It's the looking for love to fill a gap, to validate your worth. And sometimes you're looking for it in all the wrong places. It's settling or staying in relationships that don't serve you. It's not knowing or allowing the authentic you to show up. It becomes people-pleasing and self-doubt, self-sabotage, and making poor choices over and over. So when all these kinds of behaviors and actions are occurring, it's impossible to fully give, let alone receive the very love you desire. So what is love's delicious lie? That you are here to be loved. We are taught this word and action and our actions, and we spend our lives trying to find someone, to attract someone, to search for love, to feel loved by someone else, to be validated, for someone else to claim that we are worthy and we are deserving. Well, the divine truth and the next level mindset is that you are here to share love. As you work on falling in love with yourself, you'll find that sharing love is a natural extension. And when you share quality love, the universal law of attraction will guarantee that you will receive the same kind of quality of love in return. So the delicious truth is that the love you are seeking, that magical, mythical, magnetic love you are seeking, is your own.
Wow.
So that's kind of any questions you might have, but I didn't know how to tell you how to, I try to bring the two together, the spirituality and divine with some of these things. So,
Lori, that was great. It's interesting. Like I was kind of, as we were going through, I was thinking of times in my life also where I could say, oh yeah, that was definitely me. I'm not where I would like to be yet. I'm definitely better than I was when I was in my 20s. There was always that searching for and looking for somebody to validate me. That really resonated with me. And it's interesting, when I met Mark, all of that went away. Like it wasn't, I wasn't searching for someone and trying so hard. We kind of meshed.
mm-hmm.
And even still, we've been married for it'll be 16 years in October. And, things are good, but I know it can be better. And you've really kind of sparked that. in your conversation here with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So definitely need to talk a little more offline.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Sue Taylor is, she texted me back. She apologized. She was going to present to you guys today also. But I think this is, actually, I think this worked out really well. I'm not sure, maybe, you guys tell me, did one presenter sound good each time? I kind of initially thought, well, 2 presenters, but I think, Lori, you were so powerful, and I have so many thoughts that I think moving forward, it might be something that we should all consider, like just having one presenter. So I'd like your thoughts. Okay.
Sure. I think one's great, especially if you have questions and you want to find out more, or yeah. It's opportunity.
I love it. Okay, sounds great. So that we will do that moving forward. And Lisa, next month will you'll I know.
Sure.
I got your email first. Very awesome. So next month we will have Lisa Medley as our presenter. Let's see. Moving along on my agenda. I don't want to get I'm not too far behind. Usually I get really far behind. So again, Lori, thank you for sharing that with us. It was great.
Oh, you're welcome. Can I just say one thing that I think I forgot to say is one of the things I really try to do is meet the clients where they are. So if you are not a real spiritual seeker, the spirituality stuff and the angel stuff comes in just with my knowledge base as I coach forward. If you're really, into it and we're on the same page that way, then it becomes much more, vocabulary, everything more. So I just wanted to make that point. It's not all swami salami.
I like that.
And quickly, Laura, I just, thank you. My company is Solistic Arts. She'll hear more about next month. And I'm just really left with, a couple of things, but the halo and the thong, nailed it. It's such a powerful image. So thank you for that. That's so fun. And it's all of us, right? Like, I just really resonate with your work on so many levels, and just that divine human, just everything, that multidimensional piece that we all are. So I'm so glad you're on the earth and sharing your love.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very kind. Thank you.
Wonderful. Oh, I see your puppy there, Michelle. So Sue texted back, and she's like, she is so sorry that she is not with us. So Sue, we'll follow up with you, Sue, in the next couple months. Let's see, what's new at Living Healthy List? Questions. Okay, so the new thing that I'm working on, and I mentioned this earlier, is are the lists that Living Healthy List is kind of about. For the most part, we want to be sharing our information and our knowledge, and that's what we do with our blog posts. There's so many great topics that we have, that we already have on the website. And what I love about that is people can search, through the 4 categories. There are subcategories. There are a couple of glitches that Stacy Hudson and I came across in the last couple of days that we're working on, which is great to have somebody who is good at WordPress. I'm still learning. So that's been really great. And actually, I want to show you, let me see if I can pop it up and share. Oops, hold on, I just made it go away. Let's share my screen. Where is it? Hold on, I had it up a minute ago. Let me do this a second. Okay, so I go back here and let's see what happens now. There we go, and share. So this is a really, really rough draft. of what I think the Living Healthy lists will look like. As of right now, like I mentioned earlier, we don't have our own database. We have a database of 25 right now. So that's who we are. Like I have, we have some coaches, we have nutritionists, we have chiropractors, and some of us, don't quite fit into a particular category, life coach, spiritual coach. We all have our specialties, but they still need to fit under a category that people are searching for. So I mentioned earlier, under life coaching, a lot of different types of coaches pop up under coaching. So if somebody is new to coaching, or somebody says, maybe you should hire a life coach, what if they don't know anything about what coaching, what coaching is, what they should expect, who they should look for, or what they should even Google? We want to be able to provide them with the knowledge. This is what coaching is, this is what it is. This is what it's not. And, the first thing that I want to say to people is, we have coaches here, or we have nutritionists here, we have chiropractors here. Look at, read their profiles, connect with them, and see how they can help them. That is obviously our first line. We want to be the people helping people coming to Living Healthy List. And then, okay, this paragraph will go away. Mark and I were working on this the other day, but I think he forgot to share his track changes with me. But this is kind of the format. What does a life coach do anyway? And so depending on what the category is, the one that I'm working on today is about nutrition. And the question would be, what is a healthy diet? And there are, 5 of us here, and we'd have 5 different answers. So to explain to people that that's okay. If you're paleo, that in your mind is healthy. If you're keto, if you're vegan, vegetarian, whatever it is. So I want people to understand, there's a reason why there's so much confusion on the internet, because there's a lot of confusion on the internet. And not that we're going to be able to iron it out completely and say, this is the perfect life coach. This is the perfect diet. But we want to give people the most information and education and true, honest answers, so they can say, okay, I'm going to check out the life coaches on Living Healthy List. If they want to go forward and do something else, we're giving them the information that will help them. And essentially, because we've done that, they're going to come back to Living Healthy List when they have questions on hormones, if they have questions on money, if they have body image issues. They'll know that they can come back to Living Healthy List, and we'll be here to help them. So, and I can actually, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to send this to you and ask for some true feedback, some honest feedback. Life coaching versus therapy. Same thing with nutrition, and under the nutrition, which I always call eat real food, because that's just at my coaching practice, we follow 3 pillars: eat real food, make good choices, and be accountable. So if you hear me say eat real food, I'm talking about nutrition. But again, this is really important. What is the difference between life coaching and counseling or therapy? There are places where they definitely overlap, but coaching is not therapy. And coaches don't have the ability to diagnose and treat in that respect. Like as a coach, we don't treat, we coach. What else? I like these 10 reasons why, 10 reasons why you should work with a coach. And maybe it's the phrase isn't life coach. Maybe they're, and you guys can tell me, what other words should I be, putting in there? Because we're saying life coach, but I think somewhere I do talk a little bit, and maybe I don't, but what are the types of coaching? And that may be a paragraph that we need to add, because like I said, like all of us here are coaches, but we do something a little different. So I'll send this to everybody, and I'd like your feedback, and write some stuff and say, hey, did you put this in here? I'm happy to do that. A little bit about coaching. How do I find a coach that's right for me? For nutrition, it would be, how do I find a diet that's right for me? And of course, with diet, we want diet to mean the food that we are eating. And in my world here as a coach who lives with a transplant surgeon who deals with most people who are type 2 diabetic and obese, nutrition and diet is really something we talk about on a pretty regular basis. And I guess one of the questions is, obviously a healthy diet is one that makes us healthy. But what is healthy? Free of disease? Is it not being obese? Not being type 2 diabetic? I mean, obviously, my mother-in-law, when she was in her late 70s, was type 2 diabetic. And she was this teeny tiny little thing. But she was half American Indian. So we know genetically, those are things you can't avoid. But there are things that you can do that your nutrition will help with. So again, I don't want this to be, you should eat this food, but I want us to be able to provide people with enough information on, this is what a healthy diet should allow you to do or to give you. And the same thing about coaching. How do you find a coach? Do I just Google it and pick the first one? And some of this is based on my experience when I first started looking for a coach. My first experience was horrendous. It truly was. And I had signed a 12-month contract with somebody who, a couple of months into it, kind of changed her focus. But really, I hadn't done my due diligence, and really, we just didn't jive. And so I talk a little bit about that. This is interesting. Why pay for a life coach? Or if it's a health coach, why pay for a coach? Obviously, people will turn to family and friends for advice. You turn to your best friend. And they always have your best interest in mind, at least you hope they do. But are they telling you the things you actually need to hear? As a coach, you're trained differently and you're not connected to the person. So I think it's important for people to realize that there's real true value in coaching. Costs is hard, but I think it's important for people to kind of have an idea. I know, I did a coaching program 2 years ago that was well above the $75 to $250 an hour. But it was an annual program, and it was whatever it was, I don't even know now, $1,000 a month. So that was not cheap. But I think when people are starting, they need to know. They need to know what they could be getting, what they should be paying. Should they be working with somebody for the first time and paying $1,000? Maybe, if it's the right person. But if they're leery about it, they need to have an idea. Is this going to cost me, or what this is going to cost me, so they can actually budget it. Which is always interesting, talking to coaches and budgeting. Except for maybe you, Michelle, you'd be pretty good at the budgeting piece. I did put in words of caution, and again, for each of the categories, I think this is important. And this was one of those situations when it came to coaching where, obviously we want to help people. If we're, and I had, and the coaching program, or the one coach that I started with, really kind of badgered me. I almost felt like guilted me into signing. And I thought that was such a bad experience. You know, as a coach, I realized, you know, if somebody's like, oh, I'm not ready, you know, we want to coach them around that and really find out what's going on. But the conversation should never be, yes, you need to, you know, you need to do this or else, you know, you're going to, you know, fall off the face of the earth and your life is going to suck forever. I think it's important for people to know that they are in charge. And the same thing with chiropractic. Years ago, I went to a chiropractor for the first time, and it was kind of like the assembly line of chiropractors. You know, there were 10 people that showed up at the same time, and 3 or 4 would go into the different rooms. The doctor would come in, crick, crack, crick, crack. How you doing? Have a great day. Next one. How you doing? Crick, crack, crick, crack. And it was like this assembly line, and I didn't feel like I was getting the attention and the help that I needed. In the long run, did I feel better? Yeah, I probably did. But I think it's important that, you know, in any of these, with any of this, that we're giving people information that if they're not comfortable, that they should either ask questions. And I do think we need to put questions in there, you know, maybe these are the questions you should ask your chiropractor before you start. Massage therapists, there are questions that one should ask a massage therapist before they say, oh, sure, you know, I want to make an appointment. What is your experience? What type of massage do you do? My sister Allison Burton and I had a horrible experience when we were in our 20s. It was my birthday. I think it was my 25th birthday. And we were going to do a massage and lunch. Well, she got this great deal, and we went to this place, and we went up this dark, really dark hallway. And there were these little gals that were there. And I think they were shocked that 2 girls were walking into their facility. Long story short, a few months later, that place was raided. So you guys fill in the rest of the story there. Let's see. So here, you know, at Living Healthy List, we understand how frustrating searching the internet for reliable answers can be, especially if you end up with more questions than answers. So we've done the research for you. And this is where, I mean, I literally am just Google searching all of the different things. And these are the words that I Googled. Are there more? Maybe. If there's some that if you take a look at that and you say, oh, you know, look at this, you know, Google these things too. And I will Google them and add them to the list. Let's see. Again, I want to make sure that the first line is check out our coaches because we're awesome. They can contact me, blah, blah, blah. And so this is where I say, okay, this is where I did the Google search. And this is not anywhere near finished. So what I found to actually find, because I was looking for life coaches. If I typed life coach in Rochester or Des Moines or San Francisco, I actually got coaches. If I just typed life coaching or life coaches, it was almost all how to be a life coach, join my program, a lot of sales, a lot of advertising, which obviously doesn't help somebody who thinks they need to work with a life coach. And then same thing with zip code. And again, this could be life coach, it could be health coach, it could be spiritual coach, it could be, you know, fill in the blank. So again, I'll send this to you guys, and if you would, you know, read through it and send me suggestions, I would really appreciate it. Okay.
Now, sometimes I've gotten clients where they have typed in what's their issue, and it's popped up. Like one of my clients typed in sexual confidence, and it popped up. So sometimes going beyond just the life coach or coach thing, and
that's a good point.
They're looking for.
That's a very good point. And at some point on our website, we will have that capability. I think but I hadn't really thought about that. So I appreciate some of that. I got a lot more things to Google. So thank you, Lori. Okay. And then let's see. I've added a couple of other directories, though in here, again, they'll be on the page, there'll be a Google button so people can Google search. I'd rather them do that than go to some of these other places. But I think being in the medical world as long as I did, with and living with a doctor, there needs to be some, I feel we need to have some fair balance. And so the other directories that I found, LinkedIn, Numi is a coaching site, had never heard of. And this one's not as good, but it's called My Coach Match. And maybe I'll just leave LinkedIn and Numi. But again, none of these lists are complete. Some of them, like if you're not on LinkedIn, you're not on LinkedIn. So it's a lot, same with a lot of these other, some of these other directories that I found. Moving forward, what would be helpful is I'll probably ask, or I will ask everybody, who are the coaches that you know? And, send me a list of the coaches that we know. Because again, we want to make sure that when we start cultivating this list, that they're people that we actually know. Otherwise, I think, just having a big database of all the health coaches or all the life coaches is just a big Google search anyway. So we want to cultivate this a little bit more than that. So that's kind of what I've got for that. And again, this will be a page on the website and it'll look all nice and pretty. So yeah. So I'll email that to you. Actually, maybe I'll put it in the Facebook group. I think it's probably easier. So if ladies, if you would take a look, and those of you who are watching us, watching the replay, if you would please take a look at that, I'd appreciate it. So that's kind of the big thing that I'm working on. Plus, still, connecting with experts. I am looking for somebody who, and I have one lead, but I'm looking for somebody who's really good with menopause and hormones. Because I don't know about you guys, but I've always got questions. So
you're looking for a coach that's good with menopause and hormones?
Well, it doesn't necessarily need to be a coach. It could be someone who coaches around that. It could be an RN who has a business separate from being in a like a hospital or something like that.
Yeah, I work and do workshops with a woman who's she's a doctor, physical therapy, but her specialty is pelvic health. Mm-hmm. And we did a workshop on 50 is the new 30. Look, and she talked about the changes that go on with your innards, and how that affects your hormones and sex life. And I did the mind, body, soul connection. So I'll pass her along, and you guys can at least talk. And
yeah, I'd love to talk to her. And that's the thing, I like to talk to people who have been referred to me rather than just looking for somebody in an area, because there's always that connection. And at some point, I should probably do this over the weekend or when I'm on my flight on Saturday morning. I'm going to put like a family tree together, how we're all connected, how we all know one another. And I think, next year, I'm putting this out here, Michelle, next year, or when Michelle's ready, to have Living Healthy List expert retreat out in California, in Napa.
2021.
That I think that would be kind of a fun thing to show. So awesome. Anybody have questions?
Please, I have Dr. Holly Thompson Wyatt.
Okay.
She's out of the University of Colorado. And she, I've known her since high school, but I actually did an interview with her during my summit. But I think she was a consultant on one of the reality weight loss shows. And she also did, she's internal medicine, and she looks at hormones first before getting somebody on a special diet or special, like, before they go into the nutrition mode, they look at the hormones first. And I'd be happy to connect y'all on Facebook if you want.
Please, both of you, Lori and Stacy, I'd love to connect with both of the ladies that you talked about. You know, because we know even, you know, one life coach doesn't coach the same way that, you know, it would be, I think it would be really important to have, and I think it's important to have at least 2 people in an area. So that would be awesome. Thank you.
Denise, well, Dr. Christiane Northrup, I mean, she's probably not in private practice anymore, but she's just a huge resource. Christiane Northrup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a goddess to me. That's all I can't say anything more than that.
To connect, you know, and, you know, I think sometimes I make myself nervous, and I think, oh, you know, what we do, you know, we're just evolving and growing, and some of these experts, you know, this is me knowing as a coach, you know, we think that these people are so big and so busy, and, you know, but it's, you know, when you connect with them, it's amazing how many people are willing to help and to participate. So I think that's exciting.
I mean, nothing else, she's a good resource in terms of books and, you know, videos on the website. So she's like a referral.
Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of books, Lori, are your books on, especially I wrote down The Power of Wow, available on Amazon?
I think it still is. It's been a minute since I wrote that, but I'll check. I'll let you know.
Okay, because then we'll want to put that on our resource page or the bookshelf page.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. The other thing, Denise, I know you're going to post the coaching page, which is great. And I can see a model to follow for other, like, you know, what is chiropractic? What is massage therapy? What, you know, it's basically, you know, what and why and how much, and maybe like FAQs.
Yeah.
Instead of words of caution or just, I mean, I can put this out there, but I wanted it, like, I can kind of see this pattern, so then you don't have to recreate for every
Exactly.
thing, you know.
Exactly. And
Does that
truly,
make sense?
It does. And this is why I wanted to talk to you about it, because, you know, sitting here as I'm typing, I'm writing, the words are just coming to me, but they're not always the best words. And so when you said that, I'm like,
the beginning. It's the beginning.
FAQs would have probably been better.
That's okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 1 minute over. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know. If not, I want to quickly, two of our local experts here in Rochester actually are at a meeting every third Wednesday, same time we are in having our meeting. Would it work for everybody here online right now? Work if we moved it to the third Tuesday or the third Thursday?
Tuesdays are better for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem for me.
Okay, so Tuesday is better. Okay. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, so if anybody has trouble with the form submitting their article, let me know, or shoot a message to support@livinghealthylist.com, and either me or Stacy Hudson will take a look at it. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, ladies. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, ladies. Have
Bye.
a good week.
You too.